All right, welcome everyone to a live stream that is going to be shorter than the usual, probably 1 hour. Today I want to share my process in which I want to start developing an application and an application that could help in the coronavirus crisis. So the idea for the application is this. Basically, it's a database where people can basically share actions they have taken, and others can say, I want to take that action too, or I have taken that action too. That's the core idea. And I'm thinking that this could be a good way to implement the principle, act locally and share learnings globally. Obviously, then there could be a number of additions that could be made, that like each action could have its own chat or discussion thread where people can exchange tips. And like maybe there could be a map of where actions have been taken, all sorts of things. One could then categorize actions based on, whether they help you as an individual, your family, your community, your nation, and maybe the level of skill that is needed, the amount of time that needs to be invested. This could grow and grow, but I think that's the simplest idea is really this, like you share an action that you have taken and others can say, that's a cool idea, I want to do it too, and or actually do it. And that's it. And so, I'm thinking about, rather than just jumping into action, which I usually do, I might create a little diagram of what I have in mind. And I have this whimsical, it's a good website to do this. Let's see. I have to reuse one because I don't have the paid account. I'm gonna delete this stuff here. All right. Meanwhile, let me first check whether someone joined or someone's watching. 0 people watching. All right, no problem. I'm just going to go. Oops. So my camera is attached. My camera is my phone, which is attached to my laptop through a tripod. So that's why I moved things. Anyway, all right. So let's talk about the data structure of this. So you would have an action, and you would have a user, and then you have, I guess, action. Action. Let me think. Let's start with action. Basically, this is what links the user and the action, right? That's how can I link them? To go up here. All right. It's not connected. Now we're talking. So can I add mode? What is shape connector? I'm looking at the tools that I have here, because what I would like to do is to duplicate, add comments. Is there a way to, maybe this tool is not as advanced as I thought. Just gonna do it. All right, because I want to write down the fields. So action has a title, content. Do I want to make it that complicated, or do I just make it like every action is a short content? Okay, let's add the date, and the action has a user, and each user can decide to do something with this action. I can either make it event-based or status-based. Date, status, which can be either, I guess, to do or done. Anyone watching? Check. Nope. That's all right. I hope the thing will have its own impact. Now, as I think out loud, I need to make an API. So the thing is this, right, that the user accounts are hard, and I mean, I actually already programmed something like that in the past. What I don't know is if I want to use it because I haven't updated it in a while. And this is kind of like, it's a bit of a danger right now that I want to reinvent the wheel. Meanwhile, I already have like to be updated anyway, because Next.js, which is the technology I would like to use in this case, has improved a lot meanwhile. Maybe I should just check out whether there is something meanwhile, you know, like a way to log in with Facebook. That would be the best, because I would be able to avoid duplicate users, you know, spam, that kind of stuff. So the action would more like, it's more like the right way. Yeah, let's add the thing that would actually make it valuable. Comment, content, right? Comment belongs to an action and has a user. Still not sure whether an action should have a title or whether the description itself. Yeah, no, action should have a title, yes. And then a more detailed description. So user should have a username and plus whatever tokens, etc. are needed for the login system. All right, let me think now. I think this could be a good starting point. I mean, I guess a category or tag, something like that would be useful. I'm wondering whether those should be flexible, or whether they should probably kind of fixed, hard-coded, I guess. And someone should be maybe able to propose them, or should tags just be a list of pure, like hashtags kind of thing? I'm thinking about this website that has just this simple, here they are called project type, but types, it looks like there could be helping with looking for that. And this, I recommend looking at this, but I think I want to do my own thing. I don't know if that's wise, but that's what I'm looking at. Let me see whether what the situation is here. So there's a like on Facebook, 0 present. Okay, apart from that, let's switch to wireframe. How does this work? Add frame, add connector, add text, add frame. Should I do it mobile first? Never done it mobile first. Okay, phone X. Ta-da! Well, that's cool. Finish renaming that as well. Never. Yeah, I guess I'm gonna do it mobile, just for fun. Add element. So we have stuff that we can use. Okay, let's try. So what do we want? We want at a certain point. How can I duplicate this quickly? Can I control move it? Move, yeah. Okay. Circle, checkbox. I have to go through this once. Okay. Text area. Outline button. Is there something like a text input? Yes. Let me see. Solid button. How do I just add text? Okay. Bold and large. So this would be the create action. And now what would an action look like? And then now we would have some comments, right? Okay, that's an interesting question. Would comments continue from the bottom? I guess. So like that, and then the user. Let's see, is there like an avatar? Yes. Where would the date appear? Okay, what would it look like with little text like that? Something like that. We would have to also see a list of events about like who did it. Would that be okay? How would one represent that? We need some kind of icon. So how do you model something as want to do? What kind of icon could one use? Let's see. It just have to be some kind of counter that you can upvote, you know. Let's see, are there kind of like icons? Oh, that's nice. How do you distinguish something you want to do and then you did it? Okay, what would that look like with a button? And the thing is, like, this needs kind of like a counter, right? Counter of people who want to do it, and a counter button, something like that. I don't know how. Yeah. Is there a way to keep it square, please? Yes. No, this doesn't have text. No. How should we represent this? I have some other stuff here. I don't like it. Hey, how can I change it? Maybe I could just remove the I want to do it. People can just write that they want to do it. You know, give them the satisfaction. Okay, then let's move this a bit down. And let's make this, voila. And we can just leave a text, yeah? No, like 51. Small. I don't know, let's just, maybe we can add a sub separator or something. Add element, divider. Yeah, that looks reasonable, especially if we then add a scroll bar. Or maybe we don't. Maybe we don't add it. What do you think? Is there anyone watching? No. So we have an action. We have the comments. Then we have, let's make this big. We then want that's nice. We want the list of actions. Can I under really? Can I make a link out of this? Okay. Hoppala, what did it do? Something like that, right? Actions, and then maybe we want add some filters. What do we have? That's not exactly what I'm looking for. I'm looking for little filter buttons. So I'm just going to use this. Newest. Oh, my phone keeps. Link. Can I make this? Can I make this round? I would prefer it to be round anyway. Oh wait, maybe this is the thing that I'm looking for, these mobile tabs. I don't want that icon. Remove, thanks. Something like that, no? So this tool is quite amazing, I have to say. Now I'm having a bit of trouble though. I don't know. It doesn't matter too much because what matters is then whether I implement it. Anyone? Ah! Okay, that was a while ago. Pa, sei ancora online? Scrivimi un commento. That would be my father. Nope. Nobody online anymore. So, actions, single action with some comments, the create action button. Ah, yes, we actually need a way. Okay. We need a way to get from here to the actual create action button. We need a new button. Let's see. Okay, I just realized what's missing is the author. The author, I mean, here I can add it relatively easily. Something like, yeah, I just need to, like that, right? Something like that. Now the thing is, where do I leave the icon here, the author's icon? I guess I should check how Facebook does that. There you are. Okay, they just have it on top. So, yeah, obviously, I'm missing the names as well. So, okay. Some name, bold. I mean, I'm sure I'm reinventing the wheel in many ways, but yeah. So, what does this look like? Just on top. But these things have no title. Let's look at the Reddit post. That's for sure not a good. No, let's look at the structure of a tweet. Okay. How these things don't have a title. Anyway, somewhere the image needs to go. So I guess we can just some name, right? And I keep forgetting the date as well. How did he do it? Can use Facebook. It's just below. Right. So the date. Maybe it's smaller, something like that. Right? Something like that. Wait. Some name, some time. That would be, shall we add it here too? To just use the same schema everywhere? No, wait, the name is not aware. Should this have a name? Let me think. Maybe it shouldn't. Maybe this should just be a list of actions and without author. No one on that. All right. I think I'm going to remove this. How do I do this? There. Back to, the really important information here. Yeah, feels better. I mean, the author can be found as soon as you open it. Then what we have here, create action, which then actually leads to, I should maybe, how do I, like that, and this here. So, what is this? More stuff. So if you click on, what did I do? Can I connect this one with this? What? Just wanted, why can't I connect them better? Oh well, I don't know why this doesn't connect so well, but once the action is over, this would go over from here to here, right? Then the question is, would there be profiles? I guess at first, a first version wouldn't need that. What it would need is for sure a login screen. So in case this before having logged in, you know. Okay, let's duplicate these two. Why isn't it working? All right, here. Is it getting slow? Could that be? Not what I want. There we are. All right. What does this all look like without having logged in? Something like this. Log in to complete. Something like that, right? And then these pages would lead to a login screen, which I should put somewhere. Oh, I keep using the wrong. Let me put it up here. No. Log in. Log in with Facebook, because that's the only thing I want to allow anyway. Something like that. Okay. You go script, and then I mean, wherever you click, right? If you click on the login, you end up here. And then once you're done logging in, I guess you go back to the place you were, but logged in. So depending on where you were, you should end up in the right place. Okay, now that I see this, I realize that here should be a top bar with the login button. Something like that, because here now we would like to, I guess the first version wouldn't need to show anything. Would we have to show that you logged in? Or do we have to allow people to log out? I don't know. In the first version, maybe not, right? We could just have it plain. Wait, okay. We need a top bar anyway to allow people to go back home. Okay. Do we have something like that? I guess the rectangle is it, huh? Okay. We have to move everything down and add a rectangle. Right, something like this. Just the top part, basically. Ah, there's even a grid, huh? Okay, what would the top part look like? Would it be dark? Black? Not black. What? This doesn't look so dark. Strange. The outline is darker. Change shape. Ah. Color. Maybe I'm not using the right shape or something. Link divider annotation image. No? I didn't see anything. So what I want is like C19 act or something. Ah, it's ugly. How should we call it? How should we call this project? Corona Act. I have no idea. Pandemic solidarity. I have no idea. Bold. You know what? We make it simple. Call it C19 actions. Something like that. And then we would have I'm still not convinced by that, but yeah. This then would. I'm still not getting over the fact that it's so bright. I would like. I'd like this to be darker. Anyway, so here what we want is a little text that says log out. What about maybe you would have to see your username, something like or at least your avatar. What is it? What does it look like on? I mean, you would have to see a I want to avoid having to make a drop down and all that stuff for now. Oops, not what I wanted. Come on. I haven't used this tool much, so I keep missing the keystrokes, the right ones. Then like that. Something like this. And obviously here we would not. I don't know if I should duplicate the login button now. Let me. What does it look like when one opens? You know, should I just remove all these buttons? Maybe it's nicer if it's just clean while you're not logged in. I don't know. What people don't know is that the button to log in and the button to register for Facebook is exactly the same, has exactly the same function. Okay. So this would actually be the start point. And one can, okay. Okay, let's reorder these two. So that we may okay, it's a bit more awkward than I expected, but it's still a great tool. I would say it is whimsical. So, please leave feedback, people. No, it's not what I wanted. Not what I wanted either. Please. Why is it not working? Okay. So starting to look better. Actions. Newest stop. I guess. Do we need a date? No, for now. I guess for now this is would be cool to just now get feedback from someone. Okay, this can become simpler. Create action. Okay. So, tool for collective learning. So did I use the title, description, date? Yes. Username is there. Action status. I guess the status now can just be done. And the comment has content. So I use the data structure as I kind of expected. Okay, I guess I should have put it horizontally here, huh? Should I still do it? Should I move it around? I mean, it's a bit awkward, just like, oh my God. Oh my God, maybe not. I don't feel like. Maybe I can at least make this one, put this one in the middle. Go up here, please. There. Yes, thank you. And then these can go in between. So one lesson learned is elbow arrows are better. Oops. Okay. I'm not gonna try to move things around anymore. Okay, I think still has to learn. Is anyone online right now? Hey, Max, I watched your Game B video yesterday. I'm ready to be new to Hans Schmachtenberger's theory around Game B. I thought your video was great and was wondering if you could elaborate. Huh. Are you still online? Yeah, he's not online anymore, unfortunately. So I kicked myself out. I should be back. I saw. This guy joined, but I didn't see it. Sorry about that. I think he's not there anymore, unfortunately. Yeah, that's because my setup is still not. Let me check this here. Yeah. Sorry. There. I think he was online a moment ago. I'm still new with this thing and have to kind of learn how to deal with it. So one person is live. Maybe it's you, Max. I want to give you another chance if you want to join. Yes, please do it again. Try again. I don't know. I kind of kicked myself out for a moment. But if you manage to join, we can have a chat. So you have to connect your camera, looks like. Hello. Okay. I guess you hear me. So I see your messages. If you actually want to have a chat, you should connect at least the microphone. Then we can kind of communicate. Because yeah, to write you can just keep commenting on the Facebook post. Those comments I see. But if you want to actually communicate, so like, do you want to communicate in written form or in like actual conversation? Because this is kind of like video conferencing / streaming software. So we could actually have a kind of like a video call. I'm still learning how to use this. So. I think I'm realizing right now that I didn't share my screen. Didn't I? Oh my God, I didn't share my screen. I was working here all the time and it didn't share. Okay, you know what? Let me try to see whether I can chat with Max. So Max has been trying to reach out to me, but it's not clear to me whether you want to keep it in written form or whether you want to have an actual conversation. Because if you connect your microphone or camera, we could actually have a chat. Private. All right. So Max says is not ready for a video call. Yes, then please use the normal. You're on YouTube. Then you just use the normal YouTube comment stream so that people can at least see the comments that you write and I can share them. So, and I'm realizing with some shame that in this live stream I haven't been sharing my my screen, which is what I should have done. I'm going to do it now so that you can actually at least see what I've been doing. Anyway, it's a bit sad, but so let me share. What I've been doing now is I've been working on a little app that, and the goal of this app is to collect actions, solidarity actions about the coronavirus. And this is what it looks like. So you end up on this page that has a number of actions and shows people who have taken them. So you can see, and it asks you to log in if you want to participate. And then this is what it looks like. You log in with Facebook. Why Facebook? Because Facebook prevents too much duplication of accounts, and then you can yourself create an action, describe it, and it becomes part of the system. So this is a minimum viable, collective learning solidarity project that I started work on today. So this is a little design, and I was about to go to sleep anyway, and I just wanted to kind of create this design so that I can get feedback from people. But let's go back to our chat. So Max was on the game, the Discord yesterday. Ah, the one with, wait, the one with Jordan Hall? Cool. Well, welcome to this weird world. I think that now we are going to see a lot of action. I mean, it's kind of mobilized now, the game be seen around around the coronavirus, right? The so-called sense-making web. And it has been an exciting journey. I mean, I joined, or I learned about this scene last February, and since then it has taken a lot of my free time. I really believe in it. I believe in the core principles, and I've been trying. Like it, I guess I would say it has changed my life. I've been trying to align my life and orient myself towards these values of how can one call it? How can one describe it in short? I think Jordan Hall describes it well. Like he talks about how human being can connect to. There are two ways a human being can be, two modalities. One is more a culture mode, where he basically executes the culture he learned, and then liminal mode, which is where he kind of interfaces with reality directly, sensing it completely and not acting based on pure like isms, beliefs, propositions. And my take about this was from the start that this is something that needs to be practiced. And so I immediately looked for peers, and we've been practicing, and I've also been trying to be a meaningful participant in the scene. This has led me in different directions. And I guess right now, the thing that I just showed is the most meaningful thing I believe I can do. So trying to help with the coronavirus crisis. I don't know if you still are there. So Max says, would it be correct to term it cultural dogmatic versus scientific empirical modes? Not exactly. John Vervaeke has a good way. John Vervaeke is this basically the alter ego of Jordan Peterson. It's another psychologist of meaning coming out of Toronto, and he has a very good model that's actually even a bit more high resolution. He talks about 4 types of knowing. So there is the propositional knowing, which is the one that tells you what is true about reality. And the about word already should like kind of help you, you know, like about is like you're kind of detached from reality. You have a model about the world, and that thing can be true or false, right? So you have the right beliefs about reality. Then there is procedural knowing, which is knowing how to do something. So you know how to throw, you know how to bake a cake, you know how to throw a rock, blah blah blah. And that has and all these ways of knowing have a specific way of relating to reality, right? So one is sorry, my phone keeps locking the screen and then camera turns. Anyway, each of these way of knowing represents a specific way to relate with reality. So one is about beliefs. The second is about having power. Okay. Then the third is about perspectival knowing, which is basically the world, how it appears to you. Like the subjective, you know, like you're red, that kind of thing. And then there is the participatory knowing, which is the deepest one. So there is a kind of a layering of ways of knowing. And the participatory knowledge has this property that it transcends you, basically. It's the way I don't even know how to describe it. It's okay, sorry about that. Oh, okay. So Max is asking, it's objective, independent of any individual. So the thing about it is that with propositional knowledge, that's basically the most shallow of knowledges. Like the participatory is basically the participatory knowledge is what you have if you are like in a dance and you are like adapting in real time to the dance. So if you only know like what the dance, how a dance works, you're not necessarily able to perform the dance. And we actually are able to have propositional knowledge about a limited amount of things. We cannot have propositional knowledge about everything because the world is super complex and like it explodes in complexity. So we can only have that kind of knowledge about. So you're asking participatory knowledge is experiential. Not exactly. It's actually even deeper than that. It's more like the experience is the perspectival knowledge, and there is kind of like a touching point between the participatory and the like for example. So if you feel if you feel that you are in tune with the world, that's a subjective experience, but that's like a sign that your participatory knowledge, which is more kind of like actual attunement with the world, is actually there. So there are feedback mechanisms between all these ways of knowledge. And anyway, so the participatory knowledge maps quite precisely to Jordan Hall's liminal mode, or more precisely, if you have participatory knowledge without propositional knowledge. So in a sense, you do the right thing without knowing what the right thing is, like without being able to explain it, but you're actually doing it. And I think that's the core idea of Game B, that we need to become capable of doing that. So there are things that need to be done that cannot be proceduralized, that cannot be explained, that cannot be said, that cannot be translated into an ideology and ism, but that can be done by a human being that is completely connected to what's going on. And to give you an example, as I was speaking, I kind of realized that my posture was not completely straight and that I was, not fully aware. And this kind of movement towards becoming more physically here, that's like a move that transcended the pure conceptual talk that I was doing, right? I attuned to my talking self in a deeper way. And I would say that's a good example. And the power of that is that most likely, as I did it, if it landed, you felt something similar happening to you. And that's the participation aspect. That's because it is beyond just talking about the world, but it is actually starting to participating, right? And that's the thing that is hopeful about this theory, which is we want Game B to scale. And so we want to find a way to participate in the world that is kind of fire, that catches fire and spreads. So you read some. So participatory knowledge is self-awareness. Okay, I wouldn't say that that's the case. I think that self-awareness can be a tool towards improving your participatory knowledge. I think, in my understanding, it's kind of deeper. It's more existential. I think you should Google John Vervaeke, or you wrote his name right, so I expect that you know him already. Like, he has a channel and a lot of content, and the dialogues with Jordan Hall are super useful for sure. I mean, there is something there. It's a bit problematic that all his concepts are kind of spread across his talks right now. I don't think that there is like a book that contains everything in a systematic way. That's a bit unfortunate, but I think he's actually writing one of that kind. But yeah, super exciting. And I think one day I want to actually create a chart of all that. So Max is telling me I should write an article overview. Yeah, there's so much that needs to be done. I actually wanted to create a diagram of all the ways of knowing. I never got to it. I think, and because the interesting thing is, like, I mean, his whole theory is about addressing the meaning crisis, and his solution or answer is a set of practices, an ecology of practices that kind of like help people overcome this, the ways in which we bullshit ourselves and we kind of lose right relationship with reality. And that's his theory, like that we need to kind of rediscover wisdom, traditions, and practices, the thing that was previously done by religions, without the unnecessary beliefs. Just it's more about the practice, it's about the relationship with reality that can be cultivated with these practices. And there too, he has like a taxonomy that is based on these four ways of knowing. So practices for propositional knowledge, which is, back to your question from before, that would be science in general, right? Science and probably philosophy are the sets of practices that help humanity increase propositional knowledge. But then there are, like, something like a martial art would be procedural practice, right? That helps you find how to fight or something. Then there is perspectival practices, which have to do, for example, with mindfulness, meditation, others. And then the participatory practices, he talks about basically dialogos, actually, because in dialogos we have this kind of, we are in participation and we grow. But I think he's still working on that on the definition, and he's kind of discovering it together with others in participation, with Jordan Hall, but also Guy Sengstock and a number of people that have been exploring these different types of practices. So I think I should go. So Max says, John Vervaeke, overcoming the meaning crisis is overcoming alienation and delusion for genuine meaning, and corresponding your beliefs as action and action to reality. I think so. Yes. I mean, it sounds reasonable. It was Jordan Hall that said that basically the center of the meaning crisis is finding the right relationship to reality, and John Vervaeke accepted that as like a description of the project. And the right relationship with reality has to do with kind of like being in tune with it, and some beliefs, dogmatic beliefs, are kind of a numbness, if you will, towards reality. That's one way you can kind of stop being in touch with reality. You know, like being in touch and numbness. You know, that's the words really help. And you know, ideology, for example, is because it's so totalizing. It kind of explains the whole world. It's like a map that becomes so so thick that you cannot see that it is not the map, that it is not the world, for example. Let me see, there was a comment here. Hi, Linda. Hi there. Haven't talked in a while. It's funny because I'm streaming to YouTube and to Facebook for, you know, the first time. And so there are a couple of people that I know in real life showing up, which is unusual for me. Anyway, I think I'm going to end it here. Thanks, Max, for joining. And I'm sorry for not having shared my screen, which is what I wanted to do, but I think I'm going to link to what I produced. So, bye, Max. Thank you. Okay, let me share one thing with you. I'm going to leave it as a comment because I did write an article. I'm going to share it with you directly in the comments, and then also in the YouTube comments for the people who are wondering. So that's my summary of my understanding of the synergies between Jordan Hall and Vervaeke. Let me know what you think. Meanwhile, have a good day. Bye-bye. Thank you, Max.